longer, but we're gonna just make sure that you guys have clarity about what you need so you can move forward. Okay. Okay, so let me start. Let's start with always hilarious, but let me start with the ones that you think are actually quick and easy. Let's start with more lazy questions, faster. Yours is not, and yours is not. So anything you're unsure of, anything you want clarity on, anything you even aren't sure what to do.
I'm not sure what to do.
Okay. Actually, we'll do that later. Thank you. Okay, so here's,
I have a question that could be great. Okay. So let's say we have networking opportunities next week. Would you suggest that from where we are right now, that the best way forward at this point is to hammer out the audio logo?
yes. Okay, yeah. First step, audio logo, yeah, if you're going to go to networking events, for sure, you just need to drive them to the second. All so, yeah. Okay, cool. So, Ash, just, you have to leave at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, 3:15. 3:15. Half an hour, next time? 3:35? Okay, so just remind me at 2:30. I have 50 minutes. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I have a quick question.
Sure.
Okay, so when we're doing the FTC,
Yeah.
when you're saying, what are your frustrations, or, okay, what are your concerns around? Can it be more than one thing? Like, this is where I know we want to be clear. So this is where, can I say, what are your concerns around your finances and healthcare, or your finances and minimizing tax? Or is that too much?
I think it's, you could, I would either go broad, like, what are your concerns around your finances?
Because it not all relates to me, that's why I want to.
Doesn't matter, don't try to sell the box. Okay, if you're just trying to lead them to where you want to go, you're not going to get to the real problem.
Right.
What you want to be open to is the fact that there are other problems they have that you can't solve, and then you can find someone that will be extremely valuable to them for you to connect them with people.
Okay.
And that's you start being a connector, and then you'll start getting a ton of people connecting you. So it's, instead of thinking, I'm not a financial advisor, so I don't do these things, don't tell me these things, think like, how can I understand the full problem so I can be like, oh, I can help you with this, and then let me connect you with, so-and-so, because she's great at this, and then that's awesome. And now so-and-so is going to want to do the same for you. And I know there are a lot of financial advisors who sell what you sell, so maybe you can find some that don't. Like I would actually look for some people to fill the needs of your clients. So if you have, that doesn't necessarily conflict, where you can start actually, like, imagine you have a client now who's done some insurance products, and you know they need to roll their 401k, and you don't do that. And you can look online, you can go to networking events, and you're looking for, okay, just say, let's just say, we found someone who's sure, whatever, and then you can refer. So just definitely don't try to be, just focus on what it is, but be real with them and say, well, I can't solve that whole problem, but this is how I did money coaching, by the way. I got to clear the real problem, and I realized when I was talking to parents of young kids that a 529 plan, a college fund, does not solve the problem of a lack of communication around money with the parents, right, with the couple. And that's why I did money coaching, because I wanted to solve the problem. You don't have to. I could have found someone to solve the problem, but in my case, that's what I really love. And I was like, wow, this is like, and I started to solve the problem, and then of course they wanted me to do their 529 and all this stuff, right, because I gave them a bigger sense. Okay, you don't want to just say, what are your concerns in the world, what are your concerns when it comes to finances, and then specifically around your business and around cash flow, tell me more about that, and then you go dig, goes deeper.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to do a webinar/workshop that does work on their vision, their company values, and talk about Colby, and either have them do a Colby beforehand, go over it so that I can basically get in their business.
Is this a lead generation thing, or is this a fulfillment thing?
I'm still deciding. I don't know yet.
Okay. What's the purpose of it?
To bring business owners into it so that I can get them, so it gives them enough value to realize that it's important, what steps that they can do in their culture, and then to pull it into bringing Colby in to introduce it to their team.
Okay, so I would say that's lead generation.
Okay.
Because you don't have a client yet, that's not fulfillment would be you already have the client, now that's part of what they get. So that's lead generation, just make sure, the thing is that you're gonna want to do, that you have to be very careful of, is that you're gonna wanna give them all this information and give them all this quote unquote value, what you think is valuable, which is a lot of information, a lot of stuff, in the test, and then this and that, all you gotta do is find out what the problem is and help them get clarity that there is a problem and motivate them to action. So if you watch my latest webinar, Clone Your Best Clients, and you become a student, not clone your clients, but you're a student of a webinar, that's the idea, is that you want to be, it's a sales process, right? You're guiding them to the next step, the true transformation is there. So you need to help them become aware that there is a problem if they're not already aware of it, right? You might need to promise what the result that they want, because that's what they're aware of. Clone your best clients, the result they want more of their best clients. And then you go into, we call them the secrets. That's Russell Brunson, so he's digital marketer guy. But he created ClickFunnels, if you've heard of ClickFunnels, like that's his software. So he's brilliant, and I mean, probably makes hundreds of millions a year. So this is his perfect webinar script. Essentially, is that you have these 3 secrets. They're really a reframe. It's not actual content. So like secret number 1, and I told you this the other day, it's essentially is that the advisors who communicate best, their clients, bring in the most revenue, or will bring in the most revenue, right? So now that's like, wait, what do you mean by that? And then now I teach something around communication, but really what I'm doing is making them aware of the problem that they have. It's still valuable, because not being aware of it hurts them, and this is a whole reframe for them, like mindset around how they can get more clients. It's extremely valuable, but it's more around the understanding of the problem and understanding the concept. It's not really giving it to them, you know?
So then how long should that be?
An hour. No. In mine, like I said, then I keep trying to sell them, but it's really an hour. I mean, ideally, you make an offer at 45 minutes and you're done by 60, at least done, the real done, and then you can keep talking. But the problem is going to be getting people on it. So, and the problem is, how long is it going to take for you to create it? So I don't know that's the first. I wouldn't do that first. I would say that's great to learn from, but learn from, like, watch it to understand, like, what is Robin doing, so that it instills the belief they need to have in order to act now. But I would say, if you're going to start marketing, don't go create a webinar. It's hard, it takes a long time, and you're not going to be able to convert that well from the beginning. And the biggest problem you're going to have is getting people to go there, right? So why not spend your effort and time, if you're going to go networking, or go through your referral, people you know, or go through clone your clients. My suggestion on making calls to people you want to clone, do the script, do that, and do one-on-one discovery calls with them, or do an exclusive event. And drive them to an exclusive event, which we didn't talk about, but a small group event that's exclusively for HR or for business or whatever, and do that first.
So could I have that be, because I've basically done, like, in Las Vegas, it's called Roadmap for Success, where I did a 2-hour workshop. So basically I was looking, like, how can I take this and make some money off of it? So I guess that would be then more of an exclusive event that I would be having, where they'd be working.
I would be very careful to use content you've used in the past and try to repurpose that right now. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
You have something? Because you don't, but you haven't sold, right? Your stuff is not converting. You've never created a converting workshop, am I right?
Correct.
Yeah. So, and I mean, this is not like a personal attack. It's just that I just recreated an entire webinar because I teach this stuff. Because I did a 20-minute, I had to do a 20-minute talk in Chicago in July, and I revamped an entire new talk. I created a whole new talk. I thought it was awesome. I was like using rubber band, getting stretchy, and I thought it was great. It wasn't my audience last week, so I didn't really lose anything, but I didn't get any sales in that one, and the next one was fine, but I got 2 sales for $1,000 each. And I realized when I was about to recreate it and use it as a webinar, I'm like, this is not converting. This is like, I'm teaching too much information and I didn't build the gap very well, and this is like not a converting talk. And I had to start over. So I would not take your existing content. I would say, you have it there, look through, go through what, if you want to create a workshop, which is not what I would suggest that you do, but if you did, then do it the way I teach you to do it. I'll tell you how to do that in a second. Do it the way I teach you to do it, and then if you're like, oh, cool, let me pull content, and I did that, like I pulled some content from other webinars, like this whole thing about exclusive events for seminars, like I pulled some of that, but then also when I was really thinking about, okay, how do I want this, I don't know what I did with that, but remember when I was sharing my screen with you, and I was like writing some Word documents, the way I created this one, okay, let me tell you guys real quick, okay, I'm like, the risk of like telling you to do something you shouldn't do, but you kind of have to do it for an exclusive event anyway, so it's okay. But the way in which you create content for a converting material, let's say, like whether it's a webinar, exclusive event, or anything you want to convert, start with the end in mind. Okay, so on the FEMM site, there's a document that's called Presentation Prep Worksheet. And everyone, and this is like not the end of our conversation, like you come back on this call, you can ask me this stuff and we can figure it out, okay? But every time you come on the call and you say, I wanna create a webinar, I will say, have you done the presentation prep worksheet yet? Don't even start content until you've done the presentation prep worksheet. You need to prep you have to start reverse engineering it. And the first thing it says is, who's this for? So it's for HR, it's for female financial advisors, it's for whomever. And then it's like, what do you want them to do? I want them to go to a discovery call, or I want them to buy my business building session bundle. You know, what do you want them to think? How do you want them to feel? Like starting with the end in mind. And then it's like, well, what are the problems that they have? What are the results that you provide? This is the big one, what are the beliefs that they need to have in order to act now? That's everything. Oh, they need to believe I'm an expert. They need to believe that it's worth their time to meet with me. They need to believe that I can help them. They need to believe it's costing them money if they don't work with me now. All these things. Then you start thinking of what stories will instill those beliefs. Oh, this story about Robin, this story about Meredith, this story about faith and hope. Okay, what can I teach them that will instill those beliefs? Oh, well, this and this and this, right? And so you have 3 pieces of content that teach something that's more to motivate them than to educate them, that will drive the belief, so that they work with you, or they at least work with all of you. That's how I would build a talk. And what I was going to say is when I just built this last webinar, I had to start from scratch because I realized what I'd already created, and I've had converting webinars, but I created something because I was thinking differently, because I wanted, it wasn't my outcome wasn't just to convert, my biggest outcome was to impress the guy who booked me, so that I was like getting audience engagement, it was fun, and then he would want to book me again, or he'd think highly of me so I could get referrals and that sort of thing for speaking. So it was a different initial outcome, so it wasn't that I was so wrong, but when I took a step back, I realized it really wasn't converting. It wasn't a converting talk thing. So anyway, so I took out a Word doc, and I started without Ash, but I was like, okay, like first of all, I was modeling someone else, but I was like, okay, is this for okay? If you have financial advisors, and I'm like, what is the promise? Okay, the promise is phone your best clients. What's the result they want? And then I was like, okay, these are the 3 secrets that Russell Brunson has, and I looked at his, and I'll pull this worksheet up. Ash, can you just remind me to find that? Like, I don't know how helpful it'll be, but it'll probably give you some idea. But I had his there, and he said, whoever spends the most money on marketing or on advertising wins, or something like that, or builds the biggest business, or something. And so my first secret was whoever communicates best to their client has the most revenue. So I just thought about his psychology, what he is saying, and how can I make it similar, but to the effect for my client it makes sense. Okay, and then I went through another secret and then another secret. So my 3 secrets, which are like the 3 pieces of content, not really content, it's really reframing their mindset, and it's actually telling them, like, and then it's including stories that'll get them to act, whether it's with me or whether it's on their own. Like, I still want to motivate them to do something different in their life, right? It's not like I'm being a jerk. I just know if I just give them the information, they won't take action. That's the truth. Okay? So I did that. And then when I went to the secrets, I was like, okay, so the secret is whoever communicates the best with the client has the most revenue or makes the most money or whatever. And then I was like, okay, well, what do they need to know? Like communication. And I was really thinking, and then I built some content around it, totally new content I didn't even know I was doing. And I started creating this content based on that. And first I came up with some ideas, and I'm like, which case study am I going to use? Okay, I'm going to use, did I use the first one? I used just reading the second one, but I forget. Doesn't matter. One of the financial advisors. And I used the case study. and I use the case study to show it, basically. Okay, my point is that it was very much, and I'm doing this for you guys because I think that what I usually do, I think this is one of the best webinars I've done, is what I usually do is I get on my slides and I start doing stuff to like put in slides and I find a picture and then I'm distracted from like, what is the message and what do I really want and where am I going with this? And I start kind of making it look cool because I think I need to see it until I know what to put there. But then I realize is like, I actually needed to really think it through conceptually and what do I want them to think, what do I want them to believe, what story do they need to hear? I was really conscientious and intentional about setting that up, and then I went and did the slides, very, very last thing. And I did the slides within, 12 hours, mostly, anyway, but I mean, it was like the very last thing, and I was like, shit, now I gotta get this in slides. But like I had all the concepts, and it was really pretty fast.
Why didn't it get?
It did convert. This one converted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this one totally converted. And now I'm gonna make it into an evergreen webinar so that it just run. And this is like, I just, now paying for these Facebook guys, and this is like what they're gonna use as like my, because it converts. But, like if I just did this and it didn't convert, I haven't tested it to run as an evergreen webinar, now I'm wasting money on the Facebook guys and wasting money on the advertising. But I know it converts. So now we have good, good proof for that. So, that's louder than my battery. Okay, just try one.
So what did you drive into for that one?
Business building session bundle, which is basically business building session, the recording of the session, rapid client capture course, the new one that I created, which is a really good bonus. And I did one other thing. I'd even bonus some potential one-day event, not a two-day event, but a one-day event or $500 off to an event. Offer $497. So two things I'm telling you. One is be very clear on the purpose and the outcome, like the purpose of what you're doing and the outcome. Okay. So this is why I said you're already starting to think of the content and doing a workshop without even knowing what the result or the outcome that you want. Okay. So I'm sure all that stuff is great that you have, but it might be better to use that information when they're a client with you, and maybe you can have that as an added value when, maybe you can do it in a leveraged way with groups. I'm not concerned about you having great content. Like every one of you has great content and you're really phenomenal with your clients. Like I don't doubt that. What you guys are here for and what the value that I have to bring you is learning how to, one, minimize your time so that you can actually drive people to action. The key is driving people to action. The whole game is driving people to action. So one is know your outcome, know your purpose so that we can, reverse engineer it and figure it out. And two is don't be committed to using what you've already created. Actually, because most of you guys, if you start putting together like a webinar or a talk or anything, you should throw out like 80% of the content. Like even for your social security thing, like that's what they're going to give you, these pre-approved material stuff that's basically a whole webinar done, and it's so much content, but you need like the littlest thing, and it's not content, it's really about belief shift, mindset stuff. So throw that out and then just take a step back, and maybe you'll use 10% of that content that will be masterful, like, because you guys don't even know how much you know. And if you start telling them everything, all they do is get overwhelmed, and then they think, oh, I've said this myself, or I gotta go research, I gotta go read a book, or whatever it is, versus like showing them that like it's very clear, problem, result, here's the gap, here's the way to here's the path to work with me so that we can close the gap. What problems do they have that you need to touch upon so they see that it's a problem, right? And if they should be aware of it, easier if they're already aware of it, but you just gotta show that like they can't do it on their own, right? So so I would say the two options for you, and just tell me which one would you rather do. Would you rather basically drive people to a discovery call, and let's perfect that and so you're clear on how to do that, or would you rather drive them to an exclusive event? The exclusive event could be on online, like you don't have to do it, but I still want you to think of it as an exclusive event, not as like a webinar, or not as like information.
No, I think the discovery call.
Okay, that's gonna be the easiest path. And then just do next, your messaging will get better, and then we'll drive into the system that will manage your leverage time a little better. Okay, so that means that you would, are you gonna go the route of calling people, or go the route of networking, or both?
Both.
Good. Okay. So if that's the case, the number one thing you need to do it effectively is what?
Master my discovery call. Well, from what perspective? Besides getting out networking, or?
Yeah, it's a really hard question that I asked. How are you not reading my mind? Okay, the number one thing I was thinking you need in order to drive them to discovery call, is your messaging, which is your audio logo, right? Which is knowing the purpose of the call, like knowing what to drive you to next. So there's a few things, right? If it's really just like, I mean, it boils down to the stages of the sale, which really in one answer is the rapid client capture course, which is really cool because now we have it in one place, like an hour and a half of content. You have the script. You just pulled out the transcripts of the whole thing. So you can pull that up and just highlight and figure it out, and now you have everything. And that will be it, because that's like, if you guys only got that, and you only have rapid client capture, and you knew what to say when you went to networking event to drive into a discovery call, and then you knew what to say in the discovery call to drive into a strategy session, and you knew what to say in the strategy session to drive into a client, business, done, like check. Like that's the foundational piece now that will get you there. Okay, but it's like there's all the components in that, and just do it good enough to get you some performance. Okay? Good. Okay, let's go to this, since that was a hard question anyway. We're on to hard questions. Great question, though. Are you okay? Did I get you?
No.
I don't want to hurt you. No. I want to save you time, but I know it's so hard. I want to just use all the stuff I've ever created, and I end up recreating, but it ends up being better. And remember, just know the distinction, because I said don't go creating, it's like I don't want you to spend like all this time creating a new webinar like I did. That's why you're absolutely right. The best thing to do right now is just drive people to calls. Drive people to calls, and then you start getting some momentum, get some money, and then you have a little bit more time, then we can drive them to an exclusive event. The only reason why not to first drive them to an exclusive event, because it's one more thing you have to figure out, is how do I convert them from the exclusive event, versus at least knowing the exact system in the discovery call and in the strategy session that I give you that's in rapid. Okay. Father.
Yeah.
Okay, so the main thing we wanted to make sure to touch upon, and know all of you guys wanted to know this too, was basically kind of how to do the pricing in a little bit differently, okay? So you'll get more clarity also in rapid. I should make that worth $1,000. So value. You guys, by the way, speaking of these when you do it, because I basically have someone edit it, and I know one of the things that might come up is it might be hard to hear the questions. So if you can't hear the questions, if you notice and you can tell me the timestamp, if you happen to be watching anyway, that would be really helpful, so I can go in there and at least put some captions in. Because I was going to do that, and I never got to it, and my editor, the video editor, is like, it's too hard to do that, there's too many words, and whatever. I was like, all right, I'll do it. And of course, I shouldn't do it, but you guys help me with that. And if there's anything else you find that you feel like there's a gap, like you're not sure about something or something's unclear, especially if you know when you're looking at something, let me know. Or if there's something missing as far as any templates or whatever, let me know, and I'll create those and make sure you have them, and that will help me make it better. So if you guys help me, I'll just do that, and then I'll make sure you get what you need.
Is this the course you were talking about yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay. And we have that, and that's on the drop down?
RobinSpan.com/rapid_price.
Yes, because I downloaded the transcript.
Yeah.
That I, rapid,
This one's in the WhatsApp too.
it's on the website.
Oh, that's the one.
Yeah.
That one's so new, it's not even on the quick start, because that's what I mean when I create that, I say with you guys, like.
So when did you create that as opposed to the phone your best client?
I created that, when did we have advanced session, in June? You guys remember? When were you here?
Yeah.
In June, I had an event, and at the event, I did it live at the event, because I knew, like, even though it's kind of piecemeal in all the things, like, it's in wrap, it's in, some stuff, but it's like, we needed just total clarity about from start to finish, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna give you guys this, and I'm gonna record it, so I have it for my FEMM, and then I turn it to the product.
Yeah.
Yeah. And calling your clients, that was just, like, I did interview scripts, so when did you come on, Emily? ago, so probably about 3 months ago, I had an interview script, like, I kept telling people in my head, but then I actually wrote it out, and then I turned that into phone recording, so always kind of more stuff.
And that video's online too, right?
100 clients, the webinar is,
Yeah.
yeah,
You client, you just email.
yeah, that's just the scripts, we just did it, the best thing for, like, training on that would be Robin Copy, that we just did, yeah, Robin Delaney Copy, like that, because, I mean, I did one in FEMM 9, but it would be harder to find. Eventually I'll maybe do training. Okay, so you still need to get more people in your program, Robin, right?
Yes.
So just give me a quick rundown of the opportunities, like, what is it in your funnel? Are you doing networking, discovery calls, strategy sessions, that sort of thing?
Yeah, the people who follow me on Facebook and Instagram and who are just in my networking world, women who I specifically would love to work with, I reach out to them, say, hey, can we get together? Then we have that very blurry discovery. They get super hyped about the program, and then it takes forever to close, like to get the deposit in.
Yeah.
And then the idea is once they're in the program to clarify, some of them have been to one of my workshops, and some of them just know me and what I do, but have never worked with me. And then after the program, the idea is to, at this point, potentially get them to work one-on-one with me, or to put them into like level 2 of the program.
Okay, don't worry about that part yet.
Okay.
But we can talk about that when you're there.
Okay.
But like, this is what I'm saying about like the way this program works, and works really well, is that it's what happens to start thinking about the next step that's not even relevant right now, and it's very confusing, because then you're not sure what are you driving them to, whatever. But just don't worry about that. Go get them, first of all, you need an appointment, and then once you have an appointment, let's think about how you're gonna convert them. Once you convert them, then we're gonna think about how you're gonna deliver it, and once you're delivering it, like Kat has been delivering her program, then they're coming on WhatsApp going, how do we resell these people to the next program?
Yeah.
You know, so in real time, we can actually do that, so it's easier for your brain to be able to, like, what do I do? So overwhelming. Okay, so what I want you to think about then is, if you Facebook them, message them, or whatever, and you get to an appointment, make sure that you're really framing the appointment in a way that, one, is positioning you as an expert, and two, that it's clear that you're not just chatting, you know, like you can say get to know you, but it's not like, you're not using words like information, you know, get information, that sort of thing. I want to, you know, I'm really impressed by you, and I want to make sure that we meet. It seems like you really care about making an impact, like an impact coach. I've used that word a lot. By the way, I'm in a movie called Impact. You know that? Oh, hasn't come out yet. And I didn't show my Oprah stuff yet. I have to brag to you guys. So make sure you set it up so that it's positioning the conversation in a way where there's that possibility. I want to really understand like what's important to you. That's fine.
Yeah.
But just not about information, because then it gives you permission to talk about what's important to you.
Yeah, because at this point, it's been like, I know that, for example, human trafficking is a big deal to you, and that you're doing some awesome work in this field. I'd love to know where you are on that, and just kind of, at that point in the app, to get the appointment, it's about, I want to get caught up on where you are with your work in this field. It's not about, and sometimes it's like, I'm so excited, I'm launching a movement in January, and I think like so great for it. I'd love to talk to you about it. So it's kind of talking about it, but it's not.
That should be fine.
Okay.
That should be fine. Just make sure you position yourself. I would also say something like, you know, I'm very passionate about helping people like you who are already influential and making a huge difference, make an even bigger impact.
Okay.
And I thought it would make sense for us to meet.
Okay.
Because now you don't want to put them on a pedestal so much that it
Yeah.
seems like, wow, you're doing all these great things, I want to hear how you're doing it. But it's like how I can help you. You're already kind of seeding, like, to get to the next level. Because to make an even greater impact, like that's the idea. I'm looking for influential women who are really passionate about making an impact to help them get their message out even more. Because the answer to getting their message out even more is working with you.
Okay.
Okay, so then.
Can I ask a question
Yeah.
about, so your work, helping them make a bigger impact, is that on a business level or a mindset level?
It's on practical application for their life. So for some people, it's about maybe incorporating like corporate social responsibility business, or for some people it might be, how do I live my regular life in a way that's in support of this thing that I'm so passionate about, like, for example. So they might not all be business owners. For example, they might want to bring something to their job, like.
So pause, I'm totally just interrupting you because we just don't have time. You guys can talk about this offline. So let me make sure to answer these questions because we're now in the, crazy, but time just keeps moving. But you guys keep talking without me, but no. But just because I want to make sure to get to her question and then Vicki has to leave, so I'm trying to accommodate everyone. Okay. So, this is irrelevant, but these are the magazines I've been featured in, and I just want to show you though, because it's not just me. It's a family.
Oh, wow.
It's a family, so I don't think anyone here. Oh, Robin made it. Oh, Matt made it.
Not married.
So anyway,
What
that's
month?
November, this is just coming up. Anyway,
What
so,
is that, entrepreneur?
Fortune Entrepreneurial Growth.
What's the open one?
Oh, it's all the same article.
Oh, okay.
It's all the same article, just indicating everything. Yeah, cool. Yay, okay. Whew. Okay, so real quick, because I gotta wrap this up and then make sure to get to Mary's question as well. So the answer is it's all in the system, okay? But the specific thing about collecting money and the price is that my first question is, do you want to, once you're in the discovery call, so if you do that meeting with them, and it's more like an introductory meeting, connection calls, another way I call it. One, if they're highly influential, sure, meet with them because you'll close better and then you'll make a better relationship. But if they're not, try to do it as a call, not meeting, because guys kind of kill you. Lisa Chastain was doing that. I mean, for so long, she was meeting people and driving all over Vegas to try to meet with people. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, you have no time, like, because you're in the car and you're driving everywhere. Get on the phone with them, It just doesn't make sense. Okay, so that's one. And then you drive into a discovery call or session, it's up to you, but again, calls will be faster. My question is, do you want to charge for the strategy session? Or do you want to start not charging?
I've been going straight to the selling program and not doing a strategy session.
Okay, then you should charge for a strategy session, because that's not working. And part of the reason it's not working is because you don't have a system. So you're selling something that they may not be ready to buy. If they were, I could do one of two things. I could say, okay, let's just change the language on that, keep selling it, but now make it irresistible, and I can help you make it irresistible. But I actually think you'll get better results if you do it in 2 steps, and you charge even $100 or something for your strategy session. And then from the strategy session to the program, you'll be able to raise your price. If you do this, do it right, you'll be able to do 3, 4, 5 of them like this. $100 to $1,500 or $200 to $1,500, and then you'll be able to go from 200 to up to 5,000, like in the same way. So you might as well do it right. Do you know who Kristen Bunch is?
I just friended her,
Kirsten. Sorry, I have another Kristen.
We connected on Facebook like day one here.
Okay. So she's doing something similar. She was in FEMM, and don't tell her this, but I have another Kristen who has like, this is what happens in bakery, like my brain starts to sit down a little bit. Okay, so, but my point is about Kirsten is that she had made no money before coming into this program. I mean, I don't think she made any as far as I know. She was in the nonprofit world and all this stuff. And then she came in and she really followed the system. She charged, what she started charging for strategy sessions? Maybe $150 or something like that. And then she got up to probably $350 or $400 or something. And then she's now selling her program for $4,000. And so, I mean, it happened really, really fast. And she really had made no money.
She just sold the coaching for like 20 or 30,000.
She did. She got that client.
We've been doing the
She
accountability
did? The
with her,
corporate one?
like we did accountability all the way up to.
Oh my God.
No, I don't think it was one that she was even on the radar.
Oh.
She was,
Tell me.
I've done like a couple of individual strategy sessions for 247 before now. I've just been not really thinking of them because I haven't seen the value for me in it. And I've just.
And you're following the system?
No, this is all.
Okay.
System. Yeah.
Did I mention follow the system? Okay. Follow the system. So what you need to do, all of you guys sound like you need to do, is, and maybe not you guys, maybe not you, but although it might help with the strategy session, is to really study Rapid right now, and it's all there, and it's really confined and easy. But you need to go through and then create your scripts, and then make sure you're congruent with it, but everything is in there. But the gist is this, okay? Do it, discovery call, do it in a strategy session, whatever, 247, that's fine. There's a script in there where I say, basically, the anchor, you need no double anchor, because I heard you talking about it. So basically, the price is this. You guys want me to say it so you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll say it how I was doing for strategy sessions. Actually, I can do it for a business building session when I'm doing it now. I just want to make sure I don't do too many things. Yeah, okay, so this is fine. So, the next step would be a business building session. So the business building session, that is with you and a few other women in similar industry with similar challenges. And the value of that is $1,000. And what we do is we'll get on Zoom and we'll spend about an hour and a half or so and really get clear on what it is specifically that you need to focus on in your business so that you can start putting the right effort towards the right thing and start getting the results. And I know what you told me is important to you, and I might go back to what I said. You know, what your biggest challenge is attracting qualified leads. That's one of the main focuses. And what I'll do on the business building session, I'll be there on Zoom on video, making sure I understand what you need. But the cool thing is that you'll tell me what you need, and maybe it's attracting qualified leads, and you need to get clear on your target market and your messaging. I might start with you, and then I might bring in Diane, and then she has a similar problem, and then we'll piggyback that. And you hearing her challenge and her go through this messaging will help you as well. And that's going to allow you to get even more out of it and be able to implement it quicker, because it's not just you hearing yourself, but being able to see other people do it. It's incredibly valuable. I mean, I was using the same as well. I was in one-on-one sessions, and my one-on-one session is 25 times, so this is $1,000. But that's an extra thing, so don't worry about that. So what I do is I do have an introductory offer. Instead of doing the $1,000, you can do it for $697. You can do that tomorrow. I say this specifically. Tomorrow or 2 months from now, it'll be $697. That's totally fine. The reason I do an introductory rate is because I want to show my clients that I can give them results in advance. And I don't expect you to know if we're going to work together for 6 months yet or work together for a long term. This way I can really show you. You'll know by the end of that the value is there. And if we want to work together and move forward, we'll do that. So the first hour and a half is really focused on what you need. And I'll be giving you strategies and helping you build your business. And then the last half hour, we'll talk about how we can continue to work together. If you don't want to talk about that, you can get off, that's fine. And the cool thing is I'll even record the call for you, so you'll have the whole recording and get it transcribed and show you how to do that. And one thing that I do for people who are willing to take fast action, because I know that when you take fast action with me, you get better results. The clients that I've talked about, all these incredible stories and how they've changed their lives and doubled and tripled their income, is because they took fast action and they're not procrastinating. And if you do that, I like to incentivize you to do that. So instead of the $697, it's only $497. So it's $497. Oh, sorry. So I would get that right now. So I'll get your credit card now. I'll put you on the calendar. We'll look at what works best for you. And after that, what's going to happen is that I'm even going to send you a couple things to fill out to get more value out of the session. And I'll give you a few extra resources as a bonus. You don't have to do that, but that helps. So it's $497, an appropriate amount for you to invest, so that you can start attracting qualified leads and know exactly who to focus on and where to focus, so that you can start making more money in the business. Okay, so now what I mentioned with someone when I started to say this, that when I used to be vague, when I used to be vague about today, even today, which is not very vague, but because I wasn't collecting the money right there and I didn't walk them through the process, now I say, so I'll get your credit card, get you on the calendar. I have to say that. You can do tomorrow or 2 months from now, $697, but then I tell them right now, not today, right now I'll get your credit card for $497, whatever. Then nobody, like the worst case scenario, they say, oh, I really want to do this, but I don't have the money right now, but I got to look at my finances. Can I please get back to you in the next few hours? Like they get it. It's not like I'm being a jerk by discounting the price. I'm like, you can totally do it at a discount. It's $697. It's still $300 off. It's awesome. You want to do it right now, I reward you for that. And so I had recently a woman, she's like, I don't think I can do that. Money's coming through tomorrow or in a week or something. And I'm like, no problem, it's still $697, get back to me. And then that, 2 or 3 hours, she's like, text me, can I still do this? I just found the money. My husband came home and he got a check. Like, it was crazy. And she just got wrapped, so it was like awesome, right? but she knew that it was today, so I'm very clear on that. That's how you get the deposit down. How they call the difference. And you can totally do it tomorrow. No problem. So awesome. I've only had, I think, one person do, like, I had 2 people buy. One time they put half down and like a few weeks later, and then half down later. After that, no, that's not true. She put half down and then she tried to dispute her credit card. And I was like, that's odd. You told me to charge your credit card. You didn't even ask me for the money back. I would have given it to you. But okay. And then recently I had someone else do that, and she paid the $6.97, and she showed up and she didn't buy, and she was someone I talked to a year before, and she came back and it was a different offer anyway. But she came back and then she bought it for $6.97, and she didn't buy after that. And no, she was slow decision maker. Cool, that's fine.
For a program, would you ever put the cost or part of the cost of the strategy session toward, like, that would act as a deposit for the program?
I've done that in the past, and I realized it doesn't make a difference.
Okay.
Yeah, and they used to do that, and the whole thing, I'm like, why are you doing that? Why don't you stop? And then they stop, and nobody, like, it's fine. So it's just you wasting money. Like, and the thing about it is that the strategy session has value in itself. So I did say that the other day. They paid $4.97 for the business building session, and then I basically said, if you do FEMM, because I gave them FEMM or RAP or whatever, and I was going to give them $500 off for like a fast action, like an extra bonus, and I just said it that they could just apply it, but I don't think you even need to do that. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I think it really does undermine
Yeah.
the value of the strategy, because you're basically telling, well, it's not really worth all that much, it's just to get you to the,
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like doing that.
because we totally stopped doing that.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, thank
You
you.
good? Okay, is that helpful for you guys? Anyone unclear, like, how that applies to you? Okay, if you're not charging for fees or whatever, you can do similar stuff. I talked about that in Rapid of how to language that, so for you,
It's
it's
really good, yeah.
okay, it'll help, even if you're not charging, it's like, I value it, similar type language. Okay, I'm ready for it.
Okay, so yesterday in the hot seat, so I now have a roadmap as to how to get to the 25K, and I get exactly what pieces and how many I need to sell for each one. So my question then is the gap of, what activity to increase or, manipulate to do so that I can get those numbers.
Yep.
So for example, speaking engagements, right? This is what I primarily do, very rarely. Bless you. Bless you.
Apparently, this means wanted you to keep talking, go ahead.
So, is it a combination perhaps of increasing speaking engagement? Because mostly what I do is speak in other people's rooms and sell from the stage. That's what I mostly do. I've started going back into exclusive events, partnering with another association to do that. And that is, I know I can definitely ramp up the marketing for that, to get drive for that. Online marketing, I barely touch because that's not how I get my leads. And then I'm thinking of driving perhaps the possibility of going to networking events, which I absolutely don't like, and then driving them to the exclusive event or even making calls of people I know, perhaps that's one area. And then the selling from the stage portion of it, on the stages that I am allowed to sell from the stage, that's fine. But then there are certain stages that I'm allowed to drive into discovery calls but not sell directly from the stage. And then the way I do that now is driving them to say they want it. So they give me that sheet, kind of like what you were talking about, and I collect X number of discovery call sheets with the names and the email address. And then I go back home and I email them to schedule a call, and the numbers drop off at that point because, like, this recent one I did, I got 19 discovery call sheets, of which.
Why are you not driving them right to your calendar from your phone?
Because sometimes it's not practical to do that because it's on to the next speaker or it's on to the end of the event. Bye. Like, there's no time to go, hey, do you want to come here and do this thing? Even though when I did that at the small business,
No. In front of the room. In front of the room. Not after. In front of the room.
As part of the presentation, you're saying?
how do you mean?
How I mean is like, so, here's the offer, it's a discovery call, this is only for you if you are, motivated, and you want this, and you want that. It's not for you if this and this and that. How many of you have a smartphone here? Oh, wow, cool, smart room, awesome. So if you want this, now is the time to get it. The second I leave this room, It will no longer be available. I cannot work with everyone. I'm sorry, I'm really committed, but I cannot work with everyone. So if you want this, sign up. For right now, it's absolutely free. And if you, I mean, this is tech stuff, so I would just say, because I know if you leave the room and then whatever, they can still sign up they can still sign up anyway if you give them a link, but maybe you could, just, you don't have to implement it, but just scare them enough to say, look, if we see, my team sees that you signed up tomorrow, they'll just politely say, thank you for signing up, but it's just no longer available. Because, or you might be able to do it on schedule, or what are you using, Calendly? You might be able to have a timer, like you might have a special Calendly link for a specific time. I think you can do that. I would do that for those types of events. I would make it really, really, covet those spots, because if it's dropping off that much, you won't have much attrition anyway, because it's already happening, and then you don't have to follow up and freak them out. So then you say, go to, everyone has your phone, take it out right now. Can you type this in? It would be better if you do a redirect. So can we redirect to Calendly?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I would go robincrane.com/call, marysheen.com, you write on board, whatever, or it's on your slide, /call. It could be let's say the event is AWA or something like that. You can have a bunch of these. Calendly, you can do as many as you want. marysheen.com or whatever what's your website?
Magnetic Podium.
Magnetic Podium, easier to spell. magneticpodium.com/AWA. Let's just say that was the name of the group, and you have a specific calendar link that has a timer that's no longer available after midnight or something like that, and they have to sign up today.
How does that help them from following up? They could text her and then just not show up to the call.
Yeah, it just will. You're creating more desire for it. You're positioning yourself as much more an expert. You're not begging them to want to work with you. It's not available anytime. So you're just creating more desires. The people who will sign up will be more serious. You still get some attrition, but I mean, the same thing with I do calls, from Facebook ads all the time, and most of them, unless I'm getting unqualified leads, which does happen sometimes, if something messed up with my funnel or whatever, I would say, I get at least 80 to 90% showing up. But what happened when I did certain new marketing things, like the retargeting stuff, all of a sudden I got a lot of people signing up and not showing up. That's why I knew that wasn't working very well. But if you position it well, you'll get a much higher, just track it, so we know.
I'll definitely track that.
But it's gonna also save you a lot of time.
Another thought I had was, because my concern is just time. Sometimes some of these events, I'm like, there's 15 to 20 minutes, and it's kind of frowned upon.
Yeah.
Spend 5 minutes with it, and hey, the wrong URL, people just do that. So I can
But if
definitely
you have it
try
on the
that.
slide, you need clipboard.
I'm thinking of having the slots actually on a clipboard, and then just have the slots, and then have people sign their name in the slot. That's an option too.
You can do that.
But that's also, I feel like that's
it could take 2 minutes. It could take 2 minutes, and all you gotta do is just say, you're seeding it throughout your presentation. They don't even know. There's gonna be an opportunity for you to work with me and meet with me. In fact, I'm not even gonna charge you for it. You seed throughout the thing, and then you're like, here's your chance. Here you go. It's magneticpodium.com/AWA. Make sure to take a picture of that. If you don't have time, we're going out of the room, but do it today, because tomorrow won't be available any longer. The reason I do that is only where people are committed. I'm not trying to convince you, but if you're gonna sign up, please show up.
Yeah, so that's
just 30
one
seconds.
area, and I can definitely do that to increase it. But there's also, where else could I leverage what I'm doing already without going crazy, doubling the activity? I'm already doing, when you look at 2018 calendar, I'm already doing 56.
Oh my God.
Okay, I'm gonna take a walk on that one.
So how else can I leverage that? Do 120, that's.
No.
No.
So,
Eric, would they take?
no, they're not.
Myself on stage. Most of them I'm allowed to self on stage.
Yeah.
No, are you getting paid to speak?
No.
No, because it's their room, they provide the people, I walk in.
But she does, because she sells, so she's making
doesn't have to
$400.
fill the room.
It's better than getting paid. Okay. So, okay, so it would be easier for me if I saw the tracking. Here's the activities, here's how many I'm doing per month, and here's how many I'm closing. Here's how many people are in the room, and here's how many I'm closing. because it could be that you need to, be investing more in your sales process, like in front of the room, like it could, like, I don't know, I can't isolate the problem without knowing those stats, you know, so is the problem that you don't have enough bodies in the room? Is it the problem that you don't have enough people, like enough talk, so you don't have enough people to offer to? Is the problem that you're not converting well? The problem that they're not showing up? Is the problem, you know, so it's like, we need to optimize the stages of those sales. So you need to optimize it. So that means, I mean, before you just go do more, let's optimize what you're already doing. So, for example, let's say you're getting a speaking engagement and you're typically getting 15 people to show up. Well, let's figure out how you can provide more value to the members, you know, in advance, and start to like show your expertise. You have a best-selling book. Stop saying Amazon bestseller, #1 best-selling book. Now, after listening to me about that, how many think it's more credible to have a #1 best-selling book or an Amazon #1 best-selling book? One or two? One. Okay, just don't say it. Nobody cares. It's all Amazon, except for the New York Times people, and you know they're gonna say New York Times. Otherwise, everyone's Amazon. I am more credible because I have a #1 international best-selling book, and you have a #1 international Amazon book. Okay, so you hear that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Okay. So, but things like that, like what can you do to indoctrinate them in advance that the group might, don't say yes or no right now, because I know you're trying to, I'm just brainstorming here, but I want you to think about optimizing every step of what you're doing before you just do more activity. That means you can send them a video, you can send them some, you know, quiz, or you can send them some free thing that they get that might get 2 more people in the room. Well, if you did 4 speaking engagements a month, and 2 more people came 4 times, it's 8 more people, you probably sell 2 more tickets, right? And maybe one of those will become a client. So that's optimizing what you're already doing. Once you're there, optimizing the sales process, right? Meaning that you're doing better at converting. Once that they sign up, you know, how can you indoctrinate them to make sure they show up, right? So thinking about how to optimize that, like even if they do sign up and then, you know, send them a text or something like that, excited for your call, because we're going to hit these 2 points. This is the most important. Probably, you know, you could sell better from the room with like the gap, and then you can remind them on text, like that my guests are doing this because of this. I mean, you could text them. Texting them will help get them to the call. So that's optimizing out the show up rate, and then improving your closing rate, right? But we need all these numbers kind of see, is it working? Because if you do this and we don't know where you're starting and where it's ending, and we don't know, did you optimize it or not, and then you're like, well, what activity should I do? I'm like, show me the numbers and I'll tell you. But if you're looking at the numbers, you'll know. Because then it's 1 more speaking engagement equals $10,000. Okay, we know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we'll know the average that you make per speaking engagement and all those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll take a look at that. Thanks.
Okay. Cool. All right. Perfect timing. How are you doing? I'm tired. I feel it. Okay. So let's take a quick break. Can you make it under 5 minutes so we're gonna kind of wrap up a portion of this so Vicki can go without missing out, and then I'll go around and see what questions you have in the last hour or so.